Let's preview the Philadelphia Phillies for 2026 up next on Fantasy Baseball Today. Welcome to On the Beat, our mini team preview series here at Fantasy Baseball Today. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Matt Watson, who covers the Phillies for Metro Philadelphia. Make sure to give him a follow on X at Matt Watson Media. And let's just start here with the offseason. They did what they needed to do. They brought back Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto. They also signed Adolis Garcia and Brad Keller. They traded away Matt Strahm to the Royals in exchange for Jonathan Bolin. Very talented team on paper. We know that. Although, obviously, the Dodgers are amazing, so we'll see if anyone could take them down. But this team could be even better if Zack Wheeler gets healthy. So I'll let you start there. What do you think about the offseason, everything they've done so far, and any updates on Zack Wheeler and his availability for opening day?
Sure. Yeah. Well, to start with the offseason, I think the Phillies did what they had to do, right? A lot of people are using the term running it back. And I know that's not very popular among Philadelphia fans at this point, but they did what they needed to do. They brought back a DH in Kyle Schwarber, who was an MVP candidate last year. I don't expect him to be that same caliber of player moving forward, but I think he's still going to be a really great hitter for them. They needed a catcher. They brought back JT Realmuto on a 3-year deal. So they filled the holes that they had, and now it's a matter of, okay, can some of these minor additions, signing Brad Keller to the bullpen, mixing things up by moving off of Matt Strahm, can these things help put them over the top? Because this is a team that's won 95 games and 96 games the last 2 seasons. They obviously went toe-to-toe with the Dodgers in the NLDS. They didn't get the outcome that they were hoping for, but they're still a very good baseball team. There's no reason why they can't make the playoffs this year. I believe they're still the betting favorites to win the division. I would pick them to win the division outright. I think they're a great club. And I think just think they have a lot of proven talent, a lot of experienced talent. There are teams that are mixing things up that they don't necessarily know how all the pieces work together. You know, with the Phillies, how everything comes together and works together. So, from that standpoint, I think they're going to have a very strong 2026. And I think Zack Wheeler is a big wild card with that, right? He has recently, as of this week, it was reported that he is now throwing on flat ground of roughly 90 feet. He's playing long toss. So, from that standpoint, Zack Wheeler is building back up his arm. The expectation is that he will join the team when spring training starts in a few weeks. But he will be a little bit behind the other pitchers. He won't be ready to go. He's likely not going to pitch, I would think, in Grapefruit League action to start. He might maybe towards later part of camp. But if I had to guess, I think Zack Wheeler will be a full go at sometime in May. I think they might start with an innings restriction when he does, return. Maybe he even starts the season with the team and has even, maybe he's pitching 2, 3 innings and they kind of use him as an opener in that regard. But I know that Zack Wheeler is feeling good. He's ready to go. And he's just a matter of building back up that arm.
Yeah, I think wild card is a great way to put it, both for the Phillies and for fantasy baseball purposes. We know when healthy, he's one of the top 3, top 5 best pitchers in all of baseball, but now coming back from this thoracic decompression surgery, which is different than the usual thoracic outlet surgery we hear about and has kind of been a death knell for a lot of pitchers before him. This is a different surgery, and it sounds like he's moving in a positive direction, and, we'll just have to play it out and see what the velocity looks like and what that arm looks like throughout spring training and early on in the season. Hopefully we do get him back in May. One of the big fantasy questions with the Phillies while we're waiting on a Zack Wheeler is one of their top prospects, Andrew Painter, who last season coming back from Tommy John surgery did not look like the pitcher he was before. I've read, people cite like mechanical issues and things, him just not looking right, and obviously the numbers bear that out from last season. Do you get the sense at all that the Phillies have lost any faith in Andrew Painter? Because if he's good to go, there's a rotation spot open for him to start the season.
Yeah, I don't think the Phillies have lost any faith when it comes to Andrew Painter. If anything, I feel like they're very excited with what they're going to have with Painter, especially in spring training. He's going to get an opportunity to win a rotation spot out of the jump, and I expect him to do so. I really don't see a situation in which he's not with the team come opening day. When it comes to Tommy John, they say that the last thing to really return is your command. And I think that Andrew Painter is a great example of that. His velocity was back last year. He had great movement on his pitches, but he wasn't able to locate as well as he did prior to the surgery. Because of that, his numbers were high. I believe his ERA was sitting in the 5 range in AAA last year. He did get tagged for a lot of home runs. And so he didn't put the best, effort on paper. But I think if you were just watching him, I think the Phillies really just wanted him to build up some innings and allow his arm to try to return to where it was, pre-surgery. So I think they're very excited with what Painter can do. He still touches 100 with his fastball. That's going to play no matter what. And I do think that he has a spot come, opening day. So I think they're very high on him still. I think there's just a matter of just trying to get further and further away from his injury. And I think he's going to have a clean offseason to do that.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
This isn't just combat. It's cinema.
Ready or not, here I come. Let's go!
Are you not entertained?
The new home of UFC, Paramount Plus.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball. Today we are here previewing the Phillies with Matt Watson, who covers the team for Metro Philadelphia. Matt, let's get into a sleeper for the Phillies this upcoming season. Who do you have?
So for my sleeper, I'm going to go with Aaron Nola. Now, Aaron Nola is a name that everybody knows. It's no secret. But last year was the worst season of his career, undoubtedly. But I think Aaron Nola, now healthy, is going to return to what you saw prior to the injury. And prior to, he was a fantasy darling. He's a guy that, if you were trying to build a rotation in your fantasy league, you want. Nola's going to have high strikeout rates. I believe he's at over 200 strikeouts or close to it. In each of his last 5 seasons, not including the COVID year with the shortened season, and then last year, of course, with the injury. And he produces a lot of innings. Nola is I think he's pitched the most innings among any starter since debuting with the Phillies back in 2015. So he's going to give you a good 6 innings every time he goes out there. Phillies are a good team; they can give you a chance to win. So I think between the high inning count, it gives you an opportunity for quality starts, for wins. He's going to get a lot of strikeouts. I think Nola is a sleeper only because he had such a down year last year that I don't think people are necessarily thinking about him. Come your fantasy draft or come even the start of the season. He was a guy prior to that was a dark horse for a Cy Young any given year. So I think if healthy, he could return to that. All signs point that he's healthy. So I think Aaron Nola could be a good pick there.
Yeah, and he has kind of been forgotten about so far. In early drafts, the ADP is outside the top 200. So if he can bounce back anywhere close to the pitcher he was before, Aaron Nola could turn out to be a big bargain this upcoming season. What about a breakout for the Phillies in 2026?
So I think for a breakout, I'm going to go with Justin Crawford, the Phillies' top outfield prospect. He spent last year in AAA. The expectation is that he's going to be the opening day center fielder. And I think they're going to give Crawford a chance to play against lefties and righties, so you don't have to worry about a platoon. He is a high average hitter. He hit over 300 last year in AAA with, I believe, an 831 OPS. So he's going to get on base a lot. He has elite speed. It's going to turn singles into doubles, doubles into triples. He's not probably going to hit for power in his first year, but I do think that he's going to hit for a pretty high average and get on base. The stolen base factor, especially when it comes to fantasy, is going to be huge. Crawford is probably a 40 stolen base guy in the minors. I'd say maybe around 30, 35 in the big leagues this year. But I think he's going to want to make an impact, especially early. So if he's getting on base, I think that's going to give him the free reign to try and swipe a bag. And I think he's going to bat 9th in the Phillies lineup, which he's not going to get that many plate appearances, but he's going to set the table for Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper. So if he is getting on base, if he is swiping bags, he's going to give himself an opportunity to be, get runs scored, get driven in by those top hitters. So I think he is a breakout candidate. I think he's somebody that you could probably stash early in the year once he's starting to get acclimated to big league pitching. But I do expect by the summer that Justin Crawford is going to be a contributor for a fantasy baseball team.
Yeah, that is music to our ears because we are always looking for stolen bases in fantasy. And Justin Crawford, the son of Carl Crawford, very similar skill set to his father so far in the minor leagues. And batting 9th, you might not get the volume, but when you have those great hitters, batting right behind you there, could be a lot of opportunities to score runs, get on base, swipe bags. And obviously you got the big boppers coming up and Turner and Schwarber and Harper and all those guys. So, take the pressure off, bat him low in the order. And I think it actually could work out quite well there for Justin Crawford. Big thanks to Matt Watson for who covers the Phillies for Metro Philadelphia. Make sure to check out his work and give him a follow on X at Matt Watson Media. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to On the Beat, our team preview series. We'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.